What's up, everybody? This is Zephy, back for another Magic the Gathering card review. And this time I'm going to review Mana Leak. It is a one colorless, one blue mana cost. It's an instant, and the card text reads, counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. It obviously, it's been reprinted in Magic 11 core set, which brings Mana Leak back to Type 2 standard legal, which is awesome. Definitely one of the best counter spells in the game, period. Aside from Force of Will and regular counter spell. What makes this card so versatile is that it doesn't require 2 blue to cast. It's one colorless and one blue, so if you're running, more than one color in your deck, like blue-red, blue-white, you don't have to have, 2 islands or 2 blue mana-producing lands on the field by turn 2. You can have something else, so it makes it a little more versatile. Also, any good player will know to watch for it, but, if your opponent's not really sure of what you're running, you can throw an island down, you can throw, a plains or a mountain, and they won't really always expect to see Mana Leak. If they see 2 islands on top, they're going to think, okay, he's going to probably counter with something. If they know they're playing blue, they're going to expect counters anyways, but it can sometimes come out of nowhere. Mana Leak is just phenomenal, because they have to tap 3 to stop it from being countered, and usually even by turn 4 or 5, the mana that they spend is going to be 2, 3, or 4 out of those lands to cast whatever they want to play, and so they won't have enough mana left over, to pay for the 3. And at the end of the day, even if they end up paying, they're going to be tapped out. If you're playing blue versus blue, and they tap out for it, then they're not going to be able to counter anything you do in the next turn, and you're going to have a free turn to play whatever you want. So strategically, you may say it's kind of pointless to cast it if they have the mana, which, sure, they may get that summon out or whatever they wanted to play, but, you can still think strategically that it can give you board positioning for your next turn to take advantage of them being tapped out. Even if they're not playing blue, if they're playing red, maybe you know that you don't want them to cast burn spells on your turn to kill off whatever you're playing. So, it may all depend. It's just really versatile. It's really cheap to play. It costs 2. There's not much else that can really be said about Mana Leak. It's a quick instant. It's a counter spell. It's beautiful early game to like the start of the mid game. It's excellent. When you get into the mid game, it's still pretty useful, but it may not always come through, and then mid to late game you're going to see it kind of fall away from its usefulness unless they cast something big or they just tap out and they have 2 mana left and no mana left for whatever they're playing. It still can be useful, so just realize that in the very early game it's a phenomenal card. You can stop anything that they're going to try to cast, and really that's about it. If you're running blue, I'd suggest running 3 to 4, just because of it's so powerful and awesome. I would say no blue deck should be without it, unless you're running a weird strategy that you don't depend on counters. But especially a blue deck where you run like 4 counter spells, or and that's it. This replaces negate. This replaces specific counters. It's faster than cancel, which is great, and it answers everything. Even though again they can pay 3, still it answers everything. So it's not restricted as cancel or essence scatter is, to specific card types that are casted. So instead of wasting 8 slots, or just on a bunch of negates and essence scatters and cancels and all that junk, you can run maybe 4 of these and be positioned just as well. So just take that into consideration, guys. A lot of great players out there already know enough about Mana Leak. I don't really need to comment much on it. Everybody knows how good this card is and what the drawbacks can be. But that's really it. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.